from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
And welcome to the National News broadcast, bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. We are ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I'm Charita Binapurarachi. Joining with me today is Sharifa Tahir. An increase in litro gas prices. A disclosure on State Minister Dana Gamage from Mujibur Rahman. Trade unions protest over electricity charge increases. 3 ships carrying fertilizer reached the Colombo harbour. 10 countries join hands to create the world's biggest radio telescope.
Welcome back, and we move on to local news in detail right now. Litro gas prices will be increased with effect from midnight tonight. The Litro Gas Company says the reason for the increase is the gas price increases in the world market due to the upcoming festive season and the winter season. The price of a 12.5 kilogram gas cylinder has been increased by 250 rupees. Accordingly, the new price is 4,610 rupees. The price of a 5 kilogram gas cylinder has also been increased by 100 rupees, and the new price is 1,850 rupees. The price of a 2.3 kilogram gas cylinder has been increased by 45 rupees to 860 rupees. The Litro Gas Company further says that advantage of any future decreases in gas prices in the world market would be immediately delivered to the consumers. A letter pertaining to the inability to issue a diplomatic passport to a state minister forwarded to the Ministry of Defence by the Controller of Immigration and Emigration was tabled in Parliament today. It was presented by Samaki Janabalawegaya parliamentarian Mujibur Rahman. President Ranil Wickremesinghe was in the chamber at the time of the tabling of the document.
Parliamentarian Mujibur Rahman said that he was going to present a special document issued by the Department of Immigration on the 15th of December 2021. It has been issued to the Ministry of State Security, Home Affairs and Disaster Management by the Controller of Immigration and Emigration. The Controller in his letter has stated that an application has been submitted for a diplomatic passport on the 15th of December 2021. It was presented by a female state minister. The parliamentarian has further stated that the Department of Criminal has conducted an investigation in this regard. The criminal has conducted an investigation in this regard, and the CID has provided information revealed through the computer network of the Department of Immigration and Emigration. The initial fact that came into highlight was that the relevant female parliamentarian had obtained British citizenship in 2004. It has also been found that her passport number was 5213988876. Accordingly, the Sri Lankan citizenship of the MP has been abolished. As a result, it was unable to provide a Sri Lankan passport to the female MP. Parliamentarian Rahman added that there is a member in Parliament who has gone above the law approved by all 225 parliamentarians. He has questioned as to how a diplomatic passport was issued on the 12th of September 2022 in a contrary to the parliamentary decisions. The controller was removed and another controller was appointed.
2022 9 මාසයේ 12 වෙනිදා එයාට රාජ්‍යතාන්ත්‍රික බලපත්‍රයක් ඉෂුව කරලා තියෙනවා. කොහොමද ඉෂුව කරන්නේ? මේ පාලකතුමාව අයින් කරනවා. මෙයා කියනවානේ ඉෂුව කරන්න බෑයි කියලා. අලුත් පාලකවරයාව දාලා 9 වෙනි මාසයේ 12 වෙනිදා රාජ්‍ය ඇමතිතුමිය වුණාට පස්සේ ඒ ලියවිල්ලත් එක්ක දාලා මෙතුමියට රාජ්‍යතාන්ත්‍රික බලපත්‍රයක් ඉෂුව කරලා තියෙනවා. රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමා ජනාධිපති වුණාට පස්සේ තමයි ඒක වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම මේ රාජතාන්ත්‍රික විදේශ ගමන් බලපත්‍ර
Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa said that there has not been interventions by any person regarding the issuance of the diplomatic passport.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that it is not an issue to hand over a passport to a member of a party which helped to form a government.
Parliamentarian Chaminda Vijayasiri said that the 20th Amendment has been approved through the voting of 179 parliamentarians. He added that under the Order of 21, there is an outsider in Parliament who has to be removed immediately.
Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa said that the Speaker has no authority to annul the parliamentary post of any member. Accordingly to the Constitution, the power is vested upon the Court of Appeal through a writ order. The Minister further said that MPs have already requested the writ order from the judiciary. It is totally inappropriate to inculcate a wrong impression that the Speaker is not properly fulfilling his responsibilities.
Government and opposition parliamentarians say that the decision to increase the electricity bill would be further burden the masses. They add that this would also pave the way for the collapse of the industrial sector.
Parliamentarian Vimal Veeravansh said that the electricity charges have been increased on the instructions of the International Monetary Fund. He further said that the chairman of the Public Utilities Commission has stated that the earlier increase in the power charges have added security to the CEB by offsetting massive losses incurred for a long period. Parliamentarian Veeravansh further said that the second round of the electricity bill increases has been proposed once again to recover previous losses. Electricity supply has been cut back for 7 or 8 families in every village. Manufacturing costs go up for industrialists in export sector when the electricity charges are being increased.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that they have come to know of plans to divide the electricity board into 8 divisions. These are preparations to auction the board.
Minister Susil Premajan said that he is not going to justify the fact that electricity charges are to be increased. Every increase would finally affect the overall economy. With increase in local production units, the inflation will be further go up. And meanwhile, the Minister of Power and Energy, Kanchana Wijesekara, says that government has not proposed to recover past losses of Ceylon Electricity Board from a tariff revision as stated by the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka. In a Twitter message, Minister Kanchana Wijesekara has mentioned the proposal that was presented was made for an automatic cost-reductive tariff mechanism to be implemented to supply uninterrupted power and to recover the current cost of power supply. The minister further mentioned that the government has not proposed to recover past losses of Ceylon Electricity Board from a tariff revision as stated by Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka.
Several trade unions are scheduled to conduct an agitation against proposed electricity charges increase tomorrow. Representatives of the joint trade unions of the CEB said at a media briefing today that they would not allow the division and sale of land valued at billions of rupees. Meanwhile, collective of families of disappeared persons were engaged in a protest at the Theatre Uyana this morning. Their aim was to recall to the Minister of Justice on the subject of missing persons during the vote on the debate of the Ministry of Justice today. A group of retired teachers and principals have also conducted a silent protest today. They have requested to grant relief to them over the salary anomalies of retired teachers and principals since the year 1997.
Residents in the Mahaveli zones protest over handing of authority of the lands of Sri Lanka Mahaveli Authority to divisional secretaries. Vesting of powers of Mahaveli lands to these officials is a proposal of the budget of 2023. According to the budget proposal, land authority in the Mahaveli zones will be entrusted upon divisional secretariats. The Ministry of Irrigation says that issues will come under discussions at tomorrow's budget committee stage discussions. Farmers headed by the bhikkhus in the Mahaveli B zone were engaged in an agitation against the proposal in Boravava, Sevanapitiya yesterday. Farmers in the Mahaveli C zone were also engaged in a protest in the Dehiyattakandiya town today. The protesters said on this occasion that the event of the implementation of the proposal, they were unable to resolve their land disputes. They have requested the authorities to discuss on the issue with the farmer representatives prior to the implementation of the decision. The Eppavala Mahaveli Farmers Collective has also conducted a protest in the Eppavala town today.
The problem of army caterpillar has once again cropped up in the maize cultivation in several areas in Anuradhapura. Farmers have been subjected to in controlling the disease. The epidemic has severely affected cultivations in the villages of Seepukulam and Virupankulam in Anuradhapura. Agricultural officials have inspected the affected lands recently. They have pointed out that the spread of the disease is still at a controllable level through application of live insecticides. Farmers are to be provided the necessary technological knowledge in this regard. The recent dry weather condition has increased the spread of the caterpillar disease. The agricultural officials have also pointed out that the prevailing rainy weather condition would destabilize the disease eradication program. Minister Mahinda Bararira, who also took part in the inspection tour, said that necessary measures will be implemented speedily to control the spread of the disease.
Two ships carrying chemical fertilizer needed by farmers for the Maha season have reached the Colombo harbour today. Another ship is scheduled to anchor at the port tonight. The Ministry of Agriculture says the stocks will be unloaded and released to the farmers without delay. The consignment of 9,300 metric tons of fertilizer donated to Sri Lanka by the United States of America and are scheduled to be distributed among 193,000 paddy farmers in the paddy districts of Jaffna, Mullaitivu, Mana, Vavuniya, Anuradhapura, Trincomalee, Batticaloa and Munaragala. This is the initial stock of fertilizer aid provided through the funds of the USAID for International Development. The Embassy of the United States in Sri Lanka say further stocks would be supplied in the upcoming months. The fertilizer is an outright gift of local farmers from the US. US Ambassador in Sri Lanka, Ms. Julie Chung, said a country is waiting to assist Sri Lanka's farmers in the times ahead as well. Meanwhile, another ship which came to Colombo harbour, this has unloaded 41,876 metric tons of Bandi fertilizer. Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaravira has accepted the stocks. Minister of Irrigation Prashant Ranasinghe was also present on this occasion. A ship carrying 20,000 metric tons of urea fertilizer is expected to arrive at the Colombo harbour tonight. Sri Lanka has already received 85,000 metric tons of urea fertilizer under the World Bank loan scheme.
It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all of you to this handing over ceremony of urea from the people of United States of America to the people of Sri Lanka. The dignitaries gathered here today symbolize a commitment of the governments of USA and the government of Sri Lanka, along with the United Nations, towards the people of Sri Lanka, especially the vulnerable smallholder farmers. With the funding made available from USAID, we are procuring 36,000 metric tons of TSP and 9,300 metric tons of urea. What you see today is the consignment of 9,300 metric tons of urea, which has come today and will be distributed to 186,000 identified vulnerable smallholder farmers in 8 districts.
Today, in ongoing support to our U.S.-Sri Lankan partnership, I am happy to welcome the first shipment of fertilizer to help over 193,000 smallholder paddy farmers grow rice to feed the Sri Lankan people.
As we hear the clinking and clanking of the machinery of the ships unloading at this moment the fertilizer that's then shipped onto the trucks to be delivered throughout the country, it is to help Sri Lanka and Sri Lankans weather the complex emergency of the food security, especially the decreased production of rice, the staple food of all Sri Lankans. The U.S. government, through USAID, has provided $46 million to FAO to procure this fertilizer.
India has expressed willingness to extend necessary technological assistance to enhance liquid milk production in Sri Lanka. A discussion in this connection was held at the Presidential Secretariat this morning. The meeting was attended by President's Secretary Saman Ekanayake, Chairman of the National Livestock Development Board, H.W. Sirius Senior Manager of the Indian National Livestock Development Board, Rajesh Onkarna Gupta, and several other representatives. The program is being implemented through cooperation of the Indian National Livestock Development Board and the Amul Milk Company of India. The discussion has focused attention on short, medium and long-term plans to enhance local milk production. A program has commenced to offer scholarships to students with economic difficulties who are sitting for the 2024 GCE Advanced Level Examination. The funds are being provided by the President's Fund. The program is being implemented on the instructions of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Children in families whose monthly income does not exceed 75,000 rupees are eligible to apply. The number of scholarships allocated for each educational zone is 30. Under the program, scholarship recipients are being provided a monthly allowance of 5,000 rupees, subjected to a maximum period of 24 months until they sit for the GCE Advanced Level Examination. The Ministry of Education has directed the relevant application forms to the school principals. Deadline for the acceptance of applications is the 23rd of this month. The relevant newspaper advertisement is published in today's Dinamina and Dinakaran newspapers. It is also available via the website www.presidentsfund.gov.lk. Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation and the Agricultural Renovation Project has entered into an agreement at the SLRC premises today.
The general public are expected to be enlightened over the telecast of 80 programs related to the project and their progress. This is the second stage of the project to renovate the agricultural sector. 14,000 farmer families will be directly benefited. The project will educate the farmers on ways of increasing production targets, management and efficiency on the several other issues. The project are to be carried out covering 7 districts of Jaffna, Mullaitivu, Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, Batticaloa, Monragala and Bathale with the assistance of the World Bank and the European Union through the supervision of the Ministry of Agriculture. Chairman of the SLRC, W.B. Ganegala, Director General Ajantha Senaviratna and Director General of the Agricultural Renovation Project, Dr. Rohan Vijayakorn, were also present. And meanwhile, the international financial representatives have appreciated the commitment of the government for a speedy economic revival through the local financial reforms.
Vice President of the Asian Development Bank, Shikshan Shen, says that the foresight of the present leadership has been instrumental for the progressive situation. Vice Chairman Shen has made these remarks when he called on Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena at the Prime Minister's office today. He also gave assurance to the Prime Minister that the ADB would continue to provide assistance to Sri Lanka to overcome its economic and financial challenges. The Prime Minister on this occasion has explained to the ADB representative on the measures taken by the government to restructure the power, energy and petroleum sectors. Mr. Shen has reiterated on the need to control inflation and to safeguard less privileged social segments. The Prime Minister has also extended his gratitude to the Asian Development Bank for the emergency aid as well as loans and grants to Sri Lanka during times of its economic difficulties. And Prime Minister's Secretary Anura Dissanayake and other representatives of the ADB have also taken part in the discussion.
Moving on to more stories, and 481 foreign tourists have arrived in the Colombo harbour recently in a passenger ship. The ship has reached the Hambantota harbour this morning. This is the second passenger ship that has reached the Hambantota harbour since the COVID-19 pandemic. The foreign tourists are scheduled to visit the Yala National Wildlife Park, Udavalava Elephant Orphanage and other places of attraction.
The Police Special Task Force has arrested a group of persons who were alleged to be preparing for a crime with sharp weapons and narcotics in Vallampitiya. The items found from the suspects included 2 swords, 2 mana knives, a decor knife and a 720 milligram of narcotics of the variety ice. The 6 suspects between the ages of 27 and 31 years are residents of Vallampitiya, Mattala and Kolannava. They have been handed over to the Vallampitiya police station for further investigations. The group was reported to have been accused of murders previously as well. The suspects were apprehended by the STF at the Vallampitiya junction on the 3rd of this month, according to a tip-off from intelligence officials. The STF has also conducted a raid on the road in front of the MAG Institute in Nelunkulama police station on the 4th of this month. The suspects between the ages of 22 and 29 years who were residents of Vavuniya have been apprehended, keeping in possession 400 capsules of narcotics. That's it on local news, and we'll be back with news overseas. Do stay tuned in.
Welcome back with the international stories, and one of the grand scientific projects of the 21st century begins its construction phase yesterday.
The Square Kilometre Array will be the largest radio telescope in the world when completed in 2028. Split across South Africa and Australia with a headquarters in the UK, the facility will address the biggest questions in astrophysics. It will perform the most precise tests of Einstein's theories and even search for extraterrestrials. Delegation from the 8 countries leading the project are attending ceremonies in the remote Murchison Shire in Western Australia and in the Karoo of South Africa's Northern Cape.
Oil prices have risen amidst concerns that a new cap on the price of Russian crude oil could disrupt global supplies in the coming months. A separate decision by major oil-producing countries to limit the production in an effort to prop up the prices has also fueled the fears. The price cap on Russia's seaborne oil agreed upon the European Union, the G7 and the Australian has come into force. The cap of $60 per barrel, which took effectively yesterday, is aimed at limiting Russia's ability to finance its war in Ukraine while making sure it keeps supplying the global market. The price of Brent crude oil has also up to the present on yesterday's morning at $87.25 a barrel.
Bob McGrath, an original cast member of the beloved children's program Sesame Street, has died. He was 90 at his demise. Bob McGrath appeared in the Sesame Street pilot in 1969 and went on to work on 47 seasons of the show as Bob Johnson, departing the series in 2017 but still represented the show at various events in recent years. A founding cast member, Bob embodied the melodies of Sesame Street like no one else.
Welcome back with your sports update, and it's update about the FIFA World Cup Football Championship. And England and France were able to secure their positions for the quarterfinals by completing and winning their successful rounds at the Super 16 rounds.